What's up, Brian Tong here with another Apple Bits, and Apple has officially gone on the record saying it's slowing down your old iPhone after multiple claims, and reports have showed it was happening and really, they just couldn't ignore it anymore. So all those times, you said, my iPhone feels so much slower, you probably weren't crazy because Apple is actually doing it, and now they're saying to do it to offset problems with aging lithium-ion batteries. And they're only saying this because guess what? They got caught doing it. And this is really a big deal. So let's just talk about the battery first. As your phone battery gets older, they don't really hold their charges as well as newer batteries, and they can have problems when the charge is too low or even the temperature is cold. If you don't recall, you have to remember those iPhone 6 and 6S unexpected shutdowns of last year. Well, the processors in those devices, they wanted to hit faster speeds, but their batteries couldn't handle the demand. So what it did is it prompted some of those phones to just simply switch themselves off. And let's just look at Apple's official statement about this whole thing. All right, our goal is to deliver the best experience for customers, which includes overall performance and prolonging the life of their devices. Lithium-ion batteries become less capable of supplying peak current demands when in cold conditions, have a low battery charge, or as they age over time, which can result in the device unexpectedly shutting down to protect its electric components. Last year, we released a feature for iPhone 6, iPhone 6S, and iPhone SE to smooth out the instantaneous peaks only when needed to prevent the device from unexpectedly shutting down during these conditions. We've now extended that feature to the iPhone 7 with iOS 11.2 and plan to add support for other products in the future. So Apple's basically saying, yeah, we're slowing down your iPhones for a good reason. I guess really a good reason for them. But guess what? They weren't planning on telling any of this to us. It was only because they were basically caught doing it, and then they had to put on the good old Apple spin saying, we're doing it because it's in your best interest. And if we rewind back, this is really where it all started in a Reddit post where a user found performance of his iPhone 6S, saw that it was slowing down, and then significantly improved after he replaced its battery. Then the big guns, Primate Labs, they came in to investigate this further using their popular Geekbench 4 benchmark tests to measure the performance of an iPhone 6S and iPhone 7, and their findings really showed, with the software updates to older phones, that performance clearly showed a wider distribution of lower performance scores after the updates. And you know what? This won't really affect the iPhone 7 as much because of the architecture of the A10 chip. It has low power and high power cores and really uses the low power cores about 90% of the time. Now, it was only after these results when Apple finally stepped in to admit that, yes, they are slowing down older iPhones, but you know this. You know Apple would not have said a thing until these Geekbench scores were actually released to the public and this information was out for everyone. Now, let's even go back to those iPhone 6 and 6S random shutdowns from earlier this year that are still actually happening to some users today. Apple released iOS 10.2.1 with better power management, and this was their statement back in February of this year. With iOS 10.2.1, Apple made improvements to reduce occurrences of unexpected shutdowns that a small number of users were experiencing with their iPhone. iOS 10.2.1 already has over 50% of active iOS devices upgraded, and the diagnostic data we've received from upgraders shows that for this small percentage of users experiencing the issue, we're seeing a more than 80% reduction in iPhone 6S and over 70% reduction on iPhone 6 of devices unexpectedly shutting down. Now, again, Apple said it was only happening to a small number and small percentage of iPhones. So if it's happening to a small group of users, why roll out this new software feature to throttle down performance for all iPhones without saying anything about it until now? See, this is, to me, really a lose-lose for Apple either way, and it's also a lose-lose for us. Like, do you want to have your older iPhone randomly shut down on you, or would you rather have a phone with prolonged battery life while slowing it down? Well, the correct answer is none of the above. So check this out. There's not much we can really do right now. This is a feature built into software, thanks Apple. And I'm not telling you to go out and just replace your batteries right away, although you can compare your CPU scores on Geekbench compared to what it should be, and then kind of decide what you want to do from there. Now that it's out in the open, maybe Apple could give us an option to opt into this prolonged battery life feature now, but come on, flat out, this is a bad Apple because they didn't say anything about this back in February, but they only came clean once they were caught red-handed, and then they gave us their spin on it. So check this out. Let us know how you guys and gals all feel about this in the comments. Did Apple do the right thing? Are you happy with how they handled it, or are you throwing out a bad apple as well? This is the big story right now. There you go. It's another Apple Bits. We'd love to hear what you think. Write it down below. Peace.